She sat alone at the corner table, silent, eyes down, hands trembling, no phone, no food, just a girl who clearly didn't belong there, yet no one asked if she was okay. People glanced, then looked away. But one waitress, she saw more than just a girl in silence. She saw a cry for help the world was too busy to hear. What she did next didn't just change the girl's life, it exposed a truth most people still choose to ignore. It was a slow afternoon at Marley's Café, the kind of place where regulars sipped coffee while scrolling through their phones, and strangers came and went without much notice. Among the clatter of cups and soft jazz playing overhead, Ava stood behind the counter wiping glasses, half listening to the world pass by. She had worked there for years, seen all kinds of people come and go, but nothing about that day felt different, not yet. That's when she noticed her. A girl no older than 20 sitting alone in the back booth. She hadn't ordered anything. Her hair was neatly brushed, her clothes expensive but slightly rumpled, like she'd been out all night or running from something. Her eyes were blank, too still, too quiet for someone so young. And she hadn't touched the untouched glass of water sitting in front of her. Most people glanced and looked away. Some whispered, a couple even laughed. Ava didn't. Something felt wrong, not just strange, but wrong. She couldn't explain it, but her gut told her this wasn't just a girl avoiding eye contact. This was someone in trouble, someone hiding in plain sight. She watched for a few more minutes, unsure. Should she say something, offer a menu, call someone? In a world that teaches you to mind your business, Ava hesitated until the girl finally looked up. And in that split second, Ava knew, whatever this was, it was bigger than it seemed. Ava approached slowly, careful not to startle her. "Hey there, you okay?" she asked, her voice soft but steady. The girl flinched just slightly. She looked up, eyes glossy but dry, lips pressed into a thin line. Up close, Ava noticed things most would miss. Faint bruises peeking from beneath her sweater sleeve, a smudge of dirt on her designer purse, and a trembling in her hands that wasn't from cold. Ava had seen trauma before, growing up black in a world that doesn't always see you, but this wasn't ordinary fear. This was something else. The girl didn't speak, she only nodded once, then looked away. Ava brought her a warm muffin and tea anyway. No charge, no questions, just warmth. Minutes passed, then an hour. Customers came and went, but the girl remained, frozen in that same posture. Ava tried not to stare, but every time she glanced over, the unease in her chest grew. Something was wrong, seriously wrong. Then a man walked in. Well-dressed, confident, eyes scanning the room like he owned it. Ava felt it instantly. His energy wasn't curious, it was calculated. His gaze locked on the girl like a hawk spotting prey. She didn't see him at first, but when she did, her entire body stiffened. She shrank into her seat, shoulders curling inward. Ava could almost feel her heart rate spike across the room. He smiled fake and tight and walked straight toward her booth. Ava moved without thinking. "Excuse me, sir, can I help you?" she asked, blocking his path. He barely looked at her. "She's my daughter," he said, tone flat but firm. "We'll be leaving now." But Ava didn't budge. "She didn't say that," Ava replied. He chuckled low and patronizing. "She's mute, she won't." And just like that, Ava understood. This wasn't some concerned parent. This was control. This was silence born of fear, and the girl's eyes begged her not to walk away. The cafe grew quieter. Tension thickened the air like fog. Ava had a choice to make. Mind her business like everyone else, or put herself on the line for someone who couldn't even speak up. Ava's heart pounded, but her feet stayed planted. She looked the man dead in the eyes and said louder this time, "She's not going anywhere unless she says so." The girl stared at her plate, motionless. The man leaned in, lowering his voice to a growl. "You don't know who I am. You don't want to get involved in this." But Ava didn't flinch. "You're right, I don't know who you are, but I know what this looks like." The girl's hands shook under the table. Her sleeve slipped again, and this time Ava saw it, finger-shaped bruises. Old ones, faded but still there. Ava glanced around. No one was helping, no one was even looking. The whole cafe seemed to hold its breath, pretending nothing was happening. So she made a choice. "Hey, Keisha, call the police," Ava said over her shoulder, never breaking eye contact with him. The man's jaw clenched. "She's mentally unstable, she needs help, and you." "She needs safety," Ava interrupted, her voice rising. "And I won't let you take her unless she says it's what she wants." For a long moment, no one moved. Then the girl finally did. With trembling fingers, she slid a small notepad out of her purse. She scribbled something quickly and turned it around. "Please don't let him take me." That was all Ava needed. The man's mask cracked just for a second. His charm vanished, replaced by something colder, darker, but before he could move, a pair of customers stood up. Then another, then the cook from the back, silent support but undeniable. And for the first time, Ava wasn't alone. The sirens in the distance weren't just sound, they were salvation. And when the girl looked at Ava again, it wasn't with fear. It was with hope. The police arrived minutes later. Calm but cautious, they separated the man from the girl and asked Ava to explain. She did, every detail from the bruises to the fear in the girl's eyes. When they asked the girl if she felt safe with him, she simply shook her head. That was enough. The man was taken into custody for questioning. As the officers let him out, he didn't yell, he didn't resist. He just stared at Ava with that same cold smile like this wasn't over. But Ava didn't look away, she stared right back. Later that evening, after the crowd had cleared and the cafe returned to its quiet hum, the girl sat at the counter, still sipping the tea Ava had given her hours before. She wasn't talking yet, but she didn't need to. Her shoulders had relaxed, her hands were steady, and her eyes no longer looked empty. Before she left with a social worker, she reached into her bag and handed Ava the notepad one more time. On it, just one sentence. "You saved me." Ava didn't cry until the door closed behind her. She never learned the girl's full story, never knew why someone with money and privilege ended up terrified in a cafe, mute with fear. But maybe that wasn't the point. Because this wasn't just about one girl. It was about how easy it is to look away, to assume someone else will step in, to believe it's not your problem. But sometimes the smallest act, a glance, a question, a refusal to stay silent, can change everything. So next time you see someone who looks like they're drowning in plain sight, ask yourself, will you walk away, or will you be the one who refuses to look the other way?